Hello guys and welcome back here on the channel. Today I want to show you how to swap driver faces, something that's been asked a few times. So I had created a tutorial at race department in post, but I thought that maybe it's easier to follow a video. So I would say we go with the same case I have prepared in my tutorial on race department. We will swap Lewis Hamilton for Yuki Tsunoda. Okay, so first of all, where we start, of course, at our main folder of F1 2020. Don't be bothered by the things I have. It's much more than we need right now. Okay, so we go F1 2020 assets groups into the animation package, the scenes. And we start with the cinematics. There are a few files we have to edit. We go with the drivers. We start with the morph poses. Okay, so this is 2020 assets groups, animation package, scenes, cinematics, drivers, morph poses. Okay, this is the easiest part. So we will start with that one. Okay, so first of all, we look for Lewis Hamilton. So there's this asset group file. This asset group file is just an information text file to know which ERP gets loaded. So we need to open this. You can open it with any text editor you like. You can just say, okay, maybe like the default one. What is it? Editor? Whatever. Okay, thanks Microsoft. That's great. Yeah, okay, it doesn't even show up. Sorry about that. Anyway, you can use a default editor. That's completely fine with it. We will also open the ERP of Lewis Hamilton. If you don't have installed the ERPE A7.1 Achieve tool, there are plenty other sources and tutorials where you can find that. I'm not going to link it here because this is what we do, and people who do it, they should have the knowledge. Okay, so we have those files open, and then we search for Yuki Tsunoda, as well an asset group file, and the ERP. Okay, first of all, we are in the Yuki Tsunoda asset group, and we just copy the complete line. This single line here. Then we can close the file, we don't need to save it. And we put this file we just copied into the Lewis Hamilton asset group file. So that the Lewis Hamilton ERP and the Yuki Tsunoda ERP get both loaded, because this is very important. Okay, then we save the file, we can close the file, and for now call it a day. So the next thing we want to do, we are now in the Yuki Tsunoda ERP. We are on the package tab, and we just enter here set. That's all you have to enter, so there's just one file, and this file we will export. Click on export here, and yeah, we should probably use hang in there. It's just need to switch the music because else it gets flagged. Sorry about that. I was just spontaneous idea to make this tutorial. Okay, so we will export the file here at just the folder where we are at the moment, and it is a JSON file, but this is no magic. Where is it? Oh, it's down there, of course. So you can open this file as well with any text editor you like. So I have Notepad++ installed, so this is what I'm going to do. Notepad++. So inside we have every information about the animation morphoses about Yuki Tsunoda. But one thing I want to change in this file, it might not be really needed, but I still do it nonetheless, because I want to make sure that there are no doubles of any definition. So of the Lewis Hamilton, I just copied the last file here. We could just rename. Yeah, so either you copy the last information here of the Lewis Hamilton, or you just say, okay, yeah, why should I can just type in Lewis Hamilton and save the file. It still says Yuki Tsunoda, it doesn't matter. We just have to change that one down, keep the rest, save the file, close the file. Okay, so in the Lewis Hamilton ERP file, as well here, look for set. So we have the same file. And now you go on package files and import. And you look for the one we just changed. Sorry. And you import that. So now you see on the right side, the content has been changed. So this is the first thing we do. And then we save the file. And that's all we have to do for the morph poses. Okay. So let's head back here to drivers. It's just one folder up. And let's switch to the heads. And here we do similar stuff, but still a little bit different. So first of all, again, we look for Lewis Hamilton to open his essay group file. And we look for Lewis Hamilton ERP file. And we look for Yuki Tsunoda essay group. And Yuki Tsunoda ERP. So let's once again start with the text files here. We copied the line from Yuki Tsunoda ERP. Close it, don't have to save it. Into the Lewis Hamilton asset group. You see, this both is now inside the file. You can save the file, you can close the file. We don't need it anymore. So the next thing we want to do, well, we could go the crazy way. We could actually just say resources export all. We could do this. It's the easiest way. I say we go. But I will change the folder where we are right now. We are in morph poses, so let's switch here to heads. Okay, let's export all resources. You don't need to save the file any longer. It's just now export. So this is what has been exported. The character package and character package shared. We can ignore the shared, we don't need it. We go into the character package. We don't need the kitbot assets, ignore that. We go into heads. We don't need the templates, ignore it. We go into mail driver. Now here see, this is Yuki Tsunoda. Well, we need Lewis Hamilton. So first thing you want to do is actually rename that one to Lewis Hamilton. You may as well just copy the name because we need it one more time. Then we go into that folder. Ignore the materials, ignore the textures. We are going for the IDF. So inside the IDF we have now 64 different files, so they look all very, very cryptic. But it doesn't matter. So what you're gonna do is, we are gonna rename the EMB context default, the IDF mesh, 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 and mesh, and scroll one down, and change as well the render. So there are 7 files we need to rename. So I hit F2, which is the Windows command for renaming. And since they all have the same sort of file name, we can just make the tier. We select all of the 7 files at once. We go on the last, we hit F2, we rename it, paste Lewis Hamilton into it, and press enter. And now we have 7 files renamed with Lewis Hamilton. That's all we have to do here. Okay. And now we have the Lewis Hamilton ERP. Remember, we had it open. And here we go and say import all. Okay. But you don't just want to hit the folder because it might be a mess later. So we go into character package, heads, mail driver, Lewis Hamilton, IDF, because we just want to import the IDF, not all the other stuff. It takes too long. Okay, so you see the progress here, skip, 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 and 7 succeeded. Now close that window and don't forget to save. It is very important. If you don't save, nothing's gonna happen. Okay, so we have now changed the heads and the morph poses. So what is it for? The morph poses puts the textures into the right location with the model, with the head model. The head model itself is only used in arrays. So if you see on the podium or be in the helmet, but we still need to change one more thing, else the driver selection will not work. So we go here, 2020 asset groups, animation package, scenes, and then we were into cinematics, but now we're going to front end. Okay, then we go into 2020, And we go into Frontend Drivers F1 ERP. Because we just changed Lewis Hamilton, so we need to select the F1. And here we do exactly the same we did with the Lewis Hamilton ERP for the heads. You just click Resources, Import All, and the program remembers itself where was that we saved last. So we are exactly at the location where we saved our resources. So we go into, we hadn't saved at Cinematics Drivers Heads. So we go into the character package once again, into Heads, Male Driver, Lewis Hamilton, IDF, and open that folder. And here as well, there will be 7 files be imported successfully. And you can save the file. So, now there is an important thing. If you just swap drivers, existing F1 or F2 drivers which you can actively select or which are part of those 2 files here, you can see who's inside there. Those F1 names we know and F2 names we know. So if you just use to swap a few drivers of those here, or to swap drivers for the My Team generics, whatever, you don't need to do anything else. Well, you might need to if you're using F2 drivers, you actually, I think, to be safe, you open the Frontend Drivers F1 as a group and the Frontend Drivers F2 as a group, and you copy that line from the F2 into the F1. This is what you would do for every normal F2 driver that is part of those files. But, and here's the but, in our example, we're using Yuki Tsunoda, and Yuki Tsunoda is not part of the F2. Yeah, don't ask me. Don't ask me. Really, he's not part of the. If you don't have that one, he will not show up at the driver selection. So what we have to do right now, we will go back. We keep the file open here, the Frontend Drivers F1 asset group. We're into Frontend 2020, and this asset group file here, we keep that open. We need to change it, but we go back. 2020 asset group files, animation package, scene, cinematics, drivers, heads. Yes, we are going back into heads because we need to open Yuki Tsunoda as a group file once more so we can copy his line. Because we need this line. Because in this file there is his head model, which we imported Lewis Hamilton, but there are also his head textures. And if you don't load the textures into the game, well, he will be invisible. You want an invisible Yuki Tsunoda? Yurei desu ne, yurei dakara yo. So, okay. So we have Frontend Drivers F1 as a group. We added the Yuki Tsunoda ERP. We saved it. We can close the file. So that's all we have to do. And now we can open the game. And hopefully it will work at it. We open the game and we should have Lewis Hamilton now be shown. Visibly at least, with not the name changed. Just the head actually, because the rest, yeah, well, you know. As Yuki Tsunoda. So you can use the same method for Svetlana Minoskova, I think it's her name. That's one of the My Team female drivers, and you can use Tatiana Calderon, export her the same way we just did, and use her in My Team. That's what you see here on my screen left. So we go here. I need to create a new one. We will see. Okay. It's Lewis Hamilton. Well, he looks not like Lewis, but it says Lewis, so I think it's Lewis. I'm pretty sure it's Lewis. If you don't think it's Lewis, write in a comment. Anyway, so this is a small tutorial. The basics of the basics to swap drivers around. It's pretty easy to follow, I hope. If you have questions, well, preferably not ask them here in the YouTube comment, but check out the tutorial on race department. I put it in the description as well, because it's easier to maintain the comments in the forum, not at YouTube. So, anyway, that's it. That's all. Easy going. Okay. Thanks for stopping by and see you next time. All right. Bye.